Hey, this is Seth with Curated, and today we're going to take a quick look at how to set up Google Analytics 4 for your Curated newsletter. Now, if you're using Universal Analytics, we have another tutorial video on how to connect that with your Curated newsletter. So this tutorial is specifically for Google Analytics 4. Now, the first step that we're going to take is go to our Analytics page right here. And if you've created a new Analytics account and you're not sure if you're on GA4 or the old Universal Analytics, a good way to tell is by looking at this left bar right here. In Google Analytics 4, it'll look like this, where each is just a button, while in Universal Analytics, these buttons will actually be drop-down menus that have further pages to go explore. So if you're on Google Analytics 4, then the next thing that you'll do is you'll go to the admin page, and we're going to be looking for our Google Analytics G tag. The easiest way to find that is by clicking on Data Streams, clicking on the data stream of the newsletter that you have here, and clicking on this drop down which says global site tag gtag.js. So this will open up a drop down here, and we'll have a text box that we're going to copy from. You can copy by clicking the copy button right here, which copies this entire piece of code. And now we'll go back to our settings page right here. The next step is that we'll install this G tag to our newsletter. So to do this, scroll down to the analytics section here, and we're actually going to go to the other web analytics, not the Google Analytics page here, because this is specifically for Universal Analytics. And now we'll take what we just copied from Analytics and paste it here. So everything looks good, and now we'll save. So behind the scenes, Curated is placing this G tag just behind the closing head tag in the HTML, which will allow Google Analytics to track your publication page. A good way to test and see if you set this up correctly is by opening up the publication page for your newsletter. So I have it open right here, and going back to our Google Analytics for our newsletter, clicking out of here and clicking on the real-time tab right here. Now, if we set everything up correctly, you'll shortly be able to see that there is at least one user. And as long as you're not blocking any sort of tracking, or you haven't already set up your own IP address to be blocked for your Google Analytics account, you should see yourself as the user on your publication page. One new feature in Google Analytics 4 is the events that are automatically tracked as soon as you connect to your Google Analytics to a page. So we can go over here to the sidebar and click on events right here. In here, we'll see the events that were automatically created for us by default when we created this Google Analytics account. There are two metrics that are good to keep an eye on when you're running a newsletter, and the first one is scroll right here. Now, the scroll event fires off every time that a user scrolls down 90% of your web page. So it's a great way to tell if someone has scrolled through the majority of your web page, which is a good indication that they are reading your content and actively engaging with it. The second metric is engagement time, and that can be found by going to the engagement page, which is found right here, and looking at the average engagement time statistic right here. And this shows the average time that a user is spending on your website, which is helpful in knowing if users are spending more time on your website and engaging with your content, or if they're spending less time on your website and bouncing quicker. Now, Google Analytics 4 is somewhat new, so there's still some bugs that are being worked out. So if this doesn't start working for you immediately, give it some time. Sometimes it can take up to 24 hours for everything to connect and get working, or sometimes it can happen immediately. If you're having trouble getting things set up, just reach out to our support at curated.co.